Okay, so level ones are basic probability. So just remember that a probability is the amount or the frequency that something happens, the chance that something happens, and how we represent the amount is with a fraction. And that fraction on the numerator says the number of favorable outcomes, so what you want to have happen, over the total amount of possible outcomes that could happen. So let's take a look at this example. It says how many favorable outcomes. Basically, the question is how many blue marbles do you have? So in the problem, it says you got 4 red marbles, 6 yellow, 2 green, and 8 blue. So the amount of blue marbles is obviously 8. And then the total possible outcomes, the total amount of marbles that you could pick from in the bag. So we're going to add 4 plus 6 plus 2 plus 8, and that's going to give me 20. So now to give the probability, you're going to take the ones that you want to have happen over the total, and you're always going to reduce this. So final answer would be 2 out of 5. Okay, so now let's talk about basic probability in the chance of the likelihood that something will happen. Probability is either measured between 0 and 1, 0 and 100. Percent. That's not 100. So either 0 and 1 as a decimal or between 0 and 100 as a percentage. And like we said, we can always answer these as far as fractions go. So in A, it says the chance that you'll get tails when you toss a coin. So if you think about a coin, you got a heads and a tails. So what you want to have happen is a tails. That's 1, and that appears once, out of 2 total outcomes. So you can write this as a fraction. You can write this as 0.5, or you can write this as 50%. Usually I like to write it as a fraction, but the problem is just about being between 0 and 1. Alright, so now in B it says you can run 20 miles in an hour. Now when I think about what I can run about 6 miles in an hour. So the chance that I could run more than double that, actually triple that, 20 miles, is very, very unlikely. So I'm going to say about 0.1. Okay, so that would put me very, very low on the probability scale. Okay, I can also say about 1%, or I can say 1 out of 100. Okay, so something like that. Okay, it says in C you will roll a 4 on a number cube. So think about 4. There's 1 4 on a number cube out of 6 total numbers. So 1 out of 6 as a decimal, that would be 0.17, and then a percentage about 17%. Alright, D, the chance that it will snow in Michigan next winter. So if you think about Michigan, it's very much like Illinois and Chicago, where they get a lot of snow, actually more snow than we do. So I would say that the probability is pretty stinking close to 100%, or it's close to 1, or you can say 100 out of 100, or 1 out of 1. Okay, pretty close to that one mark on the number line here. Alright, in E it says you will spin a blue or a yellow. So if you look at the spinner, you've got 2 blues and 2 yellows. So that is 4 out of 6 different options that you could land on. So you can reduce that to 2 out of 3, which is 0.67 or 67%. Okay, so right above the halfway mark. F, that you will not meet a dinosaur going to school. Well, given that it's 2016, the chances of you not meeting a dinosaur, will be pretty stinking close to 100%. And then G, it says you will spin a spinner on the right and it will land on red. So again, the amount of times that it lands on red is 2 out of 6 total, which reduces to 1/3, which is 0.3 or 33%. So it lands pretty much right there on the number line. Okay, so just an idea that probability is always between 0 and 100%, or 0 and 1 as a decimal. So keep that in mind as you're working through problems. If you ever get a fraction that's larger than 1, or a decimal that's larger than 1, or a percentage that's more than 100, something's not right.